In ancient Greek mythology, the Griffins were said to be the hounds of Zeus. Half eagle, half lion, the beasts have guarded great treasures throughout time.
Yeah, I don't
But
know.
no, I'm on. Noah has this Financial Times subscription, so I'm illegally reading his subscription. But it is crazy. Read some of these articles. Like I don't know if you saw I don't know if you saw the clip of Zelensky, president of Ukraine. He basically had a press conference and said Russia's plan is to kill him and his family,
No.
and then put up like a puppet leader. And I think it would be hard for Russia to like annex Ukraine, like bring them back into Russia. But I think what they want to do is make Russia like this puppet state, just like how Belarus is a puppet state,
Yeah.
right above Ukraine. I think that's what Russia wants. Russia wants like unrestricted access to the Black Sea. But so it's just crazy. They're talking about whacking him, or that he says that's like their plan is just to kill him and put in a new leader. It's also sad. I don't know if you saw, dude. We had so Ukraine had like nuclear powers not that long ago. Like they had plenty of nukes, and the world was so concerned that Russia and Ukraine had nukes that I think we paid them a bunch of money or something, and we
Right.
basically de-armed them. We took their nukes away, and they agreed to it with the guarantees that we would protect them from Russia if something like this happened. And here we are, a handful of years later, and we're just kind of like, nope, we're not putting anybody in Ukraine. And there's even a quote in this article. Zelensky thanked Western leaders for their support, but questioned their willingness to go further. Who is ready to fight with us? Honestly, I don't see anyone. I'm asking them, are you with us?
Mm.
So, I mean, NATO can't. That would be great if we went into Ukraine. I mean, now it's like full on crazy war between Russia and NATO, and one that could get super bloody. I do think obviously NATO could overwhelm Russia, but if Russia could find allies, especially they are. I don't even know if it's unspoken at this point, but they're definitely very close with China. So it's a tense situation, but I mean I guess we can talk more about it in the space.
Right. Well, yeah, Rise of the Sol Apes are here. They're gonna give them a second to get settled. But yeah, dude, it's a whole. I don't know if I told you. I think I sent you guys a message last night. But I have an artist friend in Ukraine, in the east, like by the Donbass region, which is where the rebel held areas are. And it's it's scary. She's messaging me like, I don't want to leave my apartment. I'm with my mom. I have a lot of friends in Kiev, and this was last night. So I haven't spoken to her since, and it's just scary. Like you, talking to a real person about it is just different. It's completely different than like watching news reports come in and just really grounds in reality. So just praying for these people that didn't ask for this, and as we find out, a lot of the Russian people didn't even know that their army was mobilizing right on the border. Like they had no idea. A lot of these people, like the information wasn't being reported on their news well, and the announcement, Putin made the announcement like at 5:40 a.m. Moscow time. Now, given the country has a lot of time zones, so some people were awake, but you make an announcement about going to war with a neighboring country at 5:40 a.m. capital time. That's like making the announcement that time in New York, right? It's like your country doesn't have a chance to hear it, to argue about it, and then the next day, of course, there were assemblies in the street and people were arrested. So the people don't want it, and my friend in Ukraine was telling me the people on either side don't want it. It's a war of governments right now, and soldiers are people though; they're humans, and I've heard reports. I don't want to spread misinformation, but I've heard reports that captured Russian soldiers are saying that they believe that they were taking part in a training exercise. Now, like that can be just like a narrative that they're told to say once they're captured, because multiple Russian soldiers have said the same thing. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to like again. I'm going to preface that with I don't know if that's true. I've heard it from multiple news outlets last night, and by news outlets I mean Spaces. So
Yeah, It's a crazy time. I have heard there's a lot of protests in Russia, and obviously they get arrested very quickly, so they suppress those. And Matt, that video you sent me is going kind of viral, where it's the Russian soldiers standing in the streets of Ukraine, some city they're now occupying, and that old woman goes up and wants to give him sunflower seeds. I guess a sunflower is like the flower of Ukraine,
Right.
and she wants to give him sunflower seeds so that when he dies and he's lying on the ground, sunflowers will grow. So that was kind of a
That's like the
crazy video.
hardest. That's like the hardest shit I've ever heard. By the way,
Yeah.
is like an old lady comes up to a soldier. It's like, hey, take these seeds, and you're expecting like it to be like a gift. You can like chew on them or whatever. And she's like, yeah. So when you die, we have flowers to look at. It's like, whoa,
Crazy,
these
man.
are they're different people, man. The Ukrainians, like they've gone through stuff like this so many times. Like they just got their independence 30 years ago. So this isn't
Yeah, they're a very new country. I mean, that's part of the whole thing, right? I mean, Putin basically wants. If you look at an old map of the Soviet Union, and yeah, Putin's been a fucking Russian. I think he was in the KGB or something way back when. He's all about Russia's glory or whatever, and so he's getting older, and I think he sees maybe an opportunity now, or maybe he's just like, we got to act soon, and so he's just looking for to grab more of the land that the Soviets used to have. So I think that's the reasoning behind it. And I don't see him being able to annex Ukraine. I don't think it's likely either that you'll see any sort of advance into Poland or there's obviously a danger that if you have now Russian troops bordered next to I mean they already are like the countries just west of Russia like Estonia, um, and I'm thinking maybe Latvia. Some of those are or NATO nations. So if
right.
Russia tries to take those, in theory that means they're at war with NATO. So there is a bigger risk now that you have Russian troops right by NATO countries like on the border. But I don't think Putin's plan. I mean, it just seems too crazy for him to want to start a war with NATO. Uh, so I think he's this land grab with Ukraine. I think maybe he already realizes it, or he did realize it. I think it may be too difficult to get them the Russian flag again. Um, so I think he's going to try to do some regime change.
Yep.
But, there's still a lot that can happen in war, and things never go as planned. So it'll be interesting, scary stuff to see. I
So
guess, yeah, go ahead, Matt.
no, so I'm thinking we can go ahead and do a little rundown of some internal news first, get that out of the way, and then once we get rolling with the rest of everyone who's going to hop in here, which I'm not sure how many more we're going to hop in, but we'll wait a little bit and do some internal news first. On my
Yeah,
end,
cool.
yeah, so on my end, I know that we have that treasury report coming up for the month of February soon, so I'll let you talk about that. Um, we are ready to do graphics for that. Whenever we'll start pumping those out. Again, you'll speak on that. But on my end, we're working on a explainer video that walks through the process of purchasing Solana, storing it on a wallet, and then all the way through mint, and then verification on our Discord channel. And the reason we're doing this is basically to help expand like our market understanding. We're noticing that there are some people that are using email to discuss how to mint with us, questions through email, through Instagram. So right, those are like the Web 2 people, and we want to provide them a resource that's um, living on our page, a video that we made, so they can see our face and hear our voice explaining how to do it, and just add that level of trust. So that video will be done, let's say Monday. Give me enough time to wrap that up. But short video is about 4 or 5 minutes long, and literally walks through the exact process of getting a wallet, getting Solana, minting Griffin, and then verifying Griffin using NFTs, which I see is in here. What's up? What's up? So that video will be done soon. Besides that, we have internship applications out. We were looking and still are looking for those two creative interns and then two market analyst interns. We put those out last week. However, we heard back from one source just I think yesterday, right? Yesterday or 2 days ago.
Yeah, yesterday.
And then on my end, I heard back about 4 or 5 days ago. So they did drop those internship opportunities to their groups, and you know, I'm assuming that people are doing the research before applying, or they'll be sending out applications soon. So we should have some assistance there, which is really going to help me and get more content out. We are a 3-person team, which is very helpful. but the more assistance I have on basically, I'll make a template for like TikTok or like give my creative interns kind of a style that we're going for, and allow them to just move freely and pump that content out that basically would be like repurposed content. So whenever I do like a Creator Chronicles video, the idea is they'd help chunk that up into consumable bits for like 1 minute bits for TikTok and Instagram and all that. So that's gonna be really helpful. Besides that, on my end, I think that's about it. I know, Austin, you probably want to talk about that treasury report.
Yeah, and just to touch on what was it? What did you say right after the treasury report?
The
Sorry.
internship.
No, before that. I just had it in my head.
Consumable
Oh no,
bits.
the video we did, the tutorial. I've spoken with so many people and seen a lot of people who are really interested in the whole investment club idea and want to be a part of a community that you see people have interest in investing in markets all over the place, but they have no idea about the NFT space. They've heard of cryptocurrency. I can tell a quick funny story that when I went to go get a checking account for our company that's tied to our project is Griffin Asset Management. Getting a checking account with this like 56-year-old woman at the bank, there was like this awkward communication between us because she kept saying, so there's cryptocurrency and there's that other thing. What's that other thing? And I had no idea what she's talking about. And then I was like, what do you mean? Cryptocurrency, there's lots. There's Bitcoin, and then as soon as I said Bitcoin, she's like, oh yeah, that's it, Bitcoin. So I mean there's full-on adults who they just have no idea about the space at all. Also people like my dad who thinks the idea is really cool, but he's like, I don't know how you can bring people into this NFT world if they haven't been there. And so while we definitely have been targeting NFT like collaborations with other projects and people that are minting already, we think there's a lot of opportunity to expand. So making that tutorial video a very simple short video about getting a Phantom wallet, funding it through MoonPay or Coinbase, and then minting from us, and then getting onto Discord. I think that'll help just as a video to anybody who's very new, and if they're really interested, it's not that difficult to get on with us. But yeah, so in 3 days we'll have our February Treasury report. It's going to look very similar to the initial Treasury report. It just kind of shows the balance sheet of our company, and then we'll probably be adding on a third page. If you guys have seen our initial Treasury report, it's just 2 pages. The third page will be a kind of similar to a 13F, which is like your investment portfolio. Basically, it'll have a pie chart of what investments we're in, and it'll show our total assets under management, and then we'll do a little bit of like performance measures. So how have our investments performed from the previous report to the new report, and then as our project continues to grow in time, we'll do like the past month, the past 3 months, past 6 months. What are our investments performance? And that's not just looking at total treasury growth. I mean, we may chart that, but we can do a total return by subtracting out the money we've brought in, so that we can show what our yield is just from the investments we've made. So this report will still be pretty simple and pretty. We're still waiting. We reached out to TD Ameritrade earlier last week, but it's a bit of a process to get a corporate brokerage account. We had to do a pretty extensive application and get it physically signed by all the team members. So we mailed that out early this week, and we're hoping to hear back. If not today, very early next week. Our investment strategy, it doesn't require that we're very, very active. So we still have been doing lots of research, and obviously it's probably pretty good we haven't jumped into some stocks right before Russia invaded Ukraine. So we're fine waiting for good investing opportunities. But I do expect us to maybe start converting, because right now we're about half Solana, half cash. So I expect to be changing those weightings as we find long-term investment opportunities that we want to be in. But I'm actually, we were a little bit not concerned, but we were like, man, this is crazy. When Russia invaded, I think Sol sold off quite a bit, but we didn't sell out of any of it, and they've actually had a really good bounce. I think there's a really good floor for Sol right around $80. So that's held through this whole period. But anyway, so that report's coming out on the 28th, so in 3 days. So I expect we kind of drop that tutorial video and the February report both on that Monday. And Matt, I think there's ways that we can reach out to traditional finance. People, we can kind of, we want to target our audience, but now that audience isn't necessarily confined to just people that have NFT experience. I think there's a lot of people who would be interested in some sort of investment club. And the NFTs are just the way that we, it's like a tool that we use to get people all behind the same investment portfolio and all within the same community. So, by the way, like I said, I see NFT for cause in here, man. The bottom great. Just want to say thanks again for hooking that up for us.
Yeah. So I'm excited. Like that's me obviously a really useful tool. We got good response from everyone in the community once we posted the first one, which I just pinned above. So if you guys would like to check out the first treasury report, that is up there, and you guys can scroll through that. But let's see. I saw Rise of the Sol Apes in here. I don't know. Also, are you seeing them in here right now?
No, they must have hopped out. I don't know if they had a. Sometimes I have a lot of technical problems, but we'll see if they hop back in. If not, it's okay. I guess we can do a little bit of. We did some internal news, have a little bit of a discussion. Oh, the only other thing I wanted to touch on that we will be releasing, because plenty of people listen to these recordings from like our Discord and stuff. So we will be doing trying to do a scheduled space 2 times a week as a sort of show. And we haven't really settled on the name of the show or whatever, but it'll obviously have some stuff about like our news. But we're going to be looking to bring on other projects to those shows, and then once we're invested, we may be going over some of the companies we're investing in, or some of the investment ideas our community's pitched.
Yeah.
So we're all that to be said. We'll be probably having 2 scheduled spaces a week.
Yep. Yeah, we'll have an official announcement every Sunday too, which we did last week. So don't mean to interrupt you, but I see Rise of the Sol Apes are back in here. What's up, guys? If you guys are able to speak, I'll go ahead and invite you to hop on up, and we're definitely interested. After bumping into you last week or earlier this week, I should say, saw some interesting stuff about how you guys provide value to your community. Which is basically what I think we'd like to talk about with you. So you talk a little bit about who you are. I know there's a little bit of history about derugging yourselves, which is really interesting, and I'm not entirely sure how that works. So you guys can hop into that. That'd be really really helpful for us. And thanks for being here.
GM, everybody. Yeah, man. Thanks for having us. Griffin Investment Style, man. I love the two shows a week thing, and definitely our project would, love to like grow with you guys and be a part of that.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Yeah,
We'd love to have you on, man. I think we'll be open to lots of guests, and we'd love to like keep you as a regular guest, a regular speaker, and just set up a schedule so that people can know when to come interact with us.
exactly, man. We'll all grow together. But yeah, man. Sorry, it's 6 a.m. my time in Cali right now, so I'm just waking up, y'all.
Hey,
But
well, we appreciate you being here. I know you texted me saying that it was that early. I was like, oh, you sure about that? You sure you want to do this space right now? You killer.
but I wouldn't miss it, man. You guys, I respect the hustle, and our talking about our derugging, man. It once there's people in this space who look at it as like a cash grab and like an opportunity to hype something up and then rug it pretty much. But on the opposite end, there's some people who are here because we know that we're hustlers and we're pushers and we're like community organizer types. So when we got rugged with Sol Apes back in October, it was I was still fresh in the space, in the Solana space, but I had some idea so far as to like, okay, like this is about creating communities and bringing people together, and it's centralized around the art, and art really has a place in these NFTs space. So from that, I was really excited, and I said, you know, it having been someone who's like done like a music collective and like organized shows in the past, like here in LA. I said I know kind of what it takes to do that sort of thing, and I'm really here to do that. Like with the music collective I was doing, it wasn't even making money, but I was still pushing it, and then like every day, like posting about it, and just like reaching out to artists and reaching out to people and telling them about the collective. So when Sol Apes rugged, I said this is something that's similar to what I've been doing, but there's like people get invested in and people get invested and really like rock with you in this space, and I love that, you know. Um, so yeah, for getting rug, man. I mean, it's been a long journey, and it took a lot of steps. Like I'm seeing like, have you guys heard of the Senshi samurai rug recently?
Right. Yeah.
So I'm kind of, when I look at what they're doing, I see sort of like certain things that you know, like I feel like the art of derugging a project is becoming like an art in itself, and there's a lot of different options that projects can go as far as like derugging themselves. Um, for us, it was really whack, man. It was like our original art was pretty sick. It was like this CryptoPunk, like not a derivative, but like a branch off of CryptoPunks. And so this happened back in October, and it was like we got rugged by the creator, and then to add to it all, it was like Magic Eden went ahead like a few days after we got rugged, like Magic Eden went ahead and unverified us from their market. So like we were just there, like Magic Eden to us, I feel like was just kind of like, yo, you guys like go away. Like like we don't.
That's crazy.
It was nuts, man. And it was like members of the community were reaching out to Magic Eden like, hey, you guys, like, is there any way you can help us out? Like this is early, you know? And
So I don't mean to cut you off, but
yeah.
at this point, I'm just trying to connect the dots here.
Yeah.
So the creators of Sol Apes, they dip, right?
Right.
And at what point? So was the collection sold out when Magic Eden pulled you guys?
Yes, it was 100% sold out, and we had been live for about like a week, 2 weeks or so.
Okay.
But yeah, it was basically members of the community received like message or notice from Magic Eden that like, hey, your collection looks like a couple of these look too similar to Sol Apes or to Soul Punks, which like in this, with all these derivative projects we're seeing now, it's just like, come on, man, you know.
Yeah, that's crazy. That seems like an excuse.
It felt like it at the time as well, you know. It's just kind of like, and I think they still hadn't dealt with too many rugs up until that point.
Yeah, because rugs are hard because especially if there's like a royalty in the metadata or whatever. You have a creator who leaves, and then a community can try to keep building, but every one of those trades, you're just paying somebody who scammed the whole community. So, but to have the community unable to trade on secondary markets, I mean, that's just kind of like a nail in it for a rug project. I've seen a few rugs. I've been lucky enough to not buy. Well, I probably bought some rugs, but by the time I sold, they weren't full on rugs yet. But I've never bought like projects that were set out to be scams. Um, but I know there's a lot of them, and it's unfortunate, man. I don't know what the answer is to rugs. You know, we are pro docs. I know there's some problems with docs. Is like maybe it's a false sense of security in some cases, and but I do think it helps. But I wish you didn't need to be docs. Like I think the whole anonymous of and the decentralized anonymous part of crypto can be great. But you got to try to find a way to safeguard people who buy into communities when the creator can just take all the money and leave. But I don't know the answer. But I'm happy you guys are turning it into a positive. And I'm really happy you're here with us today.
Well, yeah, I want to hear some more in a second, but I did hear this interesting thing from, I was in a space with Space Goats and the commish from Solanauts a couple days ago, and I asked them what they thought about doxing because their whole team isn't doxed. However, they talk about. I saw Space Goats did say that they are. I think their names are just somewhere deep in their information or whatever. But they basically said that the way to figure out and gain trust is just by listening to the founders talk, which I was like, and that's not enough for me. I think people can sound really genuine, and they have throughout history, and the most genuine people sometimes are scammers. There needs to be certain levels of certification beyond that. And I think your first step when you join a community is you should sit in silence probably for a week or two and just watch their habits and watch how they communicate. But it's not enough, right? So, and I see NFT for a cause requested. I do want to hear what you were about to say. Sorry, Sol Apes there.
Yeah, it is an interesting topic, like you guys are saying. I think the marketplaces maybe need to like do a better job of I think like when I posted this after the Balloonsville rug, I think, but I said like, you know, like Magic Eden is so big, like I think they should have some kind of access to be able to maybe update like a treasury wallet, like if it's confirmed like, hey, this project rug, like maybe they could moving forward like be able to, you know, change the creator address like pretty quick if the DAO like votes for it or something. Like I think we're getting there. I think the rugs have helped like push the importance for it pretty much.
I think that's true. The logistics of it all is a little touchy. Like, I guess a project could make like a Magic Eden like a part creator, or give Magic Eden like the update authority. But I don't know. It gets difficult because like you can, because then you still have to trust Magic Eden, which okay, we trust Magic Eden, but I've seen some stuff like you could still do something like that and then just wait a little bit longer, and then you can drain the treasury wallet pretty easily. And I don't know if Magic Eden would be able to. I mean, there does have to be some sort of technology solution there. Maybe I'm just not smart enough to think of it, but it does seem like you either have to trust Magic Eden, and then the whole idea of Magic Eden setting up a treasury wallet to pay victims of rugs. It's like they're inviting people to come scam them to try to basically steal from that treasury wallet by
Right.
stealing from the community, and then the community gets paid by Magic Eden. So it's they're coming after Magic Eden. So I don't think. I mean, maybe that's a good thing that Magic Eden could do, because they do make a ton of money in fees from Launchpad and from secondary marketplace, but they provide a great service. So it's a tough topic. I do prefer seeing projects that um, there's just there's like a proof of doxing, or it's just very clear that the project creators are doxed, and that they have a decent idea of project that, if it's just JPEGs. Well, I mean, if it's just JPEGs, then it's just pictures, and then you can't really rug. Don't have a roadmap. But maybe if the roadmap's outlandish, and then there's no work before you try to sell an NFT collection, put in the cart before the whole thing. And I think a lot of the maybe the early communities who were looking for utility, and then they turn to like, oh, we'll make a video game out of it, and then people get excited and want to buy the NFTs. I think it'll work better, and I think in the future what's going to happen is you need to have like have a video game made, have like a really great video game with a community of people playing that game, and then those are the people that should look to introduce NFTs to their game, and that's where you can create a lot of value. And then I think the risk of rugging is next to zero if the developers are doxxed and there's already a product, and then everybody can be happy. So, like you said, I think the space will mature, and we'll find a way through. But it does seem like there'll be periodic rugs, and it's hard to fully stop them.
Hey, Austin, this is Jason. What about a better system? I think that might address that whole issue.
Yeah, hey Jason. Yeah, I've seen that, and that could work. And like I said, if you could somehow introduce this new blockchain technology into it, for what I've heard in a more simple case is now the project just won't rug until they get the money out of escrow. So if there was a 2-week escrow, um, I mean, I guess it would be more difficult, right? If a project launched on Magic Eden, and the money was tied up for a couple weeks, then I guess they'd have to show some. But I still think you could just keep the game going a little bit longer until, or claim, hey, Magic Eden, we need these funds to do what we're planning on doing. If it's game development, we need the funding to help us do this game development. And then they get the money out of escrow for Magic Eden. And then as soon as it's detached, then the rug can happen again. I mean, right now there is no escrow, so these projects can basically rug immediately. But if there was an escrow, as soon as they could take funding out of it, and maybe there's like a stepwise thing there where they can take a percentage of the funding, and then they need to prove that some progress has been done. But I don't think Magic Eden wants to put constraints on projects in that way because they won't look to use Launchpad. They'll go somewhere else. And so I don't know. I like I said, maybe there is a way to use blockchain in a way that's smarter than what I can think of right now. But the simple escrow idea of like money's in escrow for a week and then Magic Eden turns it over to the project creator. I don't see how they won't. They could just rug a week later, and then meanwhile the legitimate projects have to sit on their hands before using that funding. So I don't know. Like I said, maybe there is some sort of solution there though, and maybe that could help.
Yeah, one thing I've heard of the Solana Storm project, they haven't done too many launches yet, but I think they have a model where when a project mints with them, they have they put together a roadmap and a budget for the funds required to achieve their roadmap. And so Solana Storm will kind of release payments out of their mint treasury, so they hold it for a long time and they have different milestones that they have to achieve in order to release funds out of it. So I think it takes a project agreeing to do a mint with that type of structure and restriction. But as a user, if you can see that that's what your project is doing, it gives you a little bit more faith.
Yeah, that does seem like a great solution. I lost my Twitter changed up all my emojis, so I can't throw the 100 underline anymore. I miss it. Yeah, somehow Matt still has it. I have like clap, and I don't like any of these.
Yeah, I don't have it either.
But I have my purple heart.
I got purple hearts in that, yeah.
But anyway, no, that is a good idea. It puts some constraints on the project, but I mean that seems like healthy constraints. And I mean there is a single point of failure with Solana Storm. Imagine Solana Storm does this for a while and they build up and they have millions and millions of dollars coming through them. So
it all comes back to, you got to trust somebody in the end.
Yeah, exactly. But I do think that could be healthier. I feel like bad actors may find a way to try to justify like needing 100% of the funding immediately for certain projects. Maybe not. Or they could fake their development. It's possible that they could like show false, but it does make rugging harder, right? So I guess there's definitely room for something like that, and that seems like an awesome development. Maybe I should look up Solana Storm. You said that's what they're called, Solana Storm?
Yeah, they're pretty new. They're kind of just getting started, so I think it takes a little bit of proving out to see how it works and everything. But that's kind of what they've been talking about on Twitter, and they've got a roadmap.
That's cool. If I can plug one more cool I just looked at this week, I'd seen Quantum Traders on Twitter quite a bit, but I never looked into their platform. They had a really cool system of just trading NFTs. Like you can make an offer. I don't know if you guys have looked into this, but you go to their website and you put like, say you could put a few, well, I don't know, whatever random collection. You put a few NFTs and you put like 10 Sol and you send that trade proposal to another wallet, and then they'll choose an NFT or currency like Solana, and they'll send it back to you, and you can either accept it or deny it. Just while we're talking about other interesting projects, that's when I saw Quantum Traders actually giving them a free plug here. But that was a pretty cool. I looked at their little tutorial video online, and I was like kind of impressed. Anyway.
Yeah, I've been seeing them on the space. I think I might have reached out to them recently. I might have to check the DMs, but that'd be a group I'd love to talk to as well. But speaking of groups I'd love to talk to, I want to know, like, going back to Sol Apes here, Rise of Sol Apes. So how are you guys like rebuilding and kind of gathering community? Obviously there's a point of interest here is that you guys had to recover from like a rugging that you guys weren't responsible for, and that kind of unites you guys behind something. But how are you guys gathering together? Is there like a leadership chain now? Like maybe you can talk on that a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Firstly, I want to say one thing about it is, man, I love our community. Like the people who are still here is like the people who are still here and just like every day, like let's go like Rise of Sol Apes, like 51 gang, like there's such a core group of people that through everything they're still here. And then through the second mint, through the remint of our new collection, certain people just like really supported, and I think the whole rug process is really invaluable in a way, as far as like and then the people who are still here and still sticking around to build and help out and like share posts. it creates a really strong bond within the community that like we're not going anywhere, and like we really appreciate what the dev team like has stepped up to do, kind of thing. But to answer what you're saying about like how do we keep it together, currently like we're developing we have like a really ambitious development roadmap, like and things are being rolled out, so that's one big thing that like I think the community has really been appreciative of, and it does grow the community little by little, just rolling out new features pretty much, like we minted, and then a week and a half after mint we set up our staking, which I'll admit, our V1 staking kind of wasn't. It was a little bit like a rougher look, but it gets the job done early on. So we roll out staking pretty quick, and then we were able to create our token and add, like it has an icon to it, has the name right there in people's Phantom wallet. So I think just constantly delivering for the community has been the biggest factor. That's just like people really get more and more and more invested, and they end up sweeping our floor, and that's been really like a rewarding process for everyone who's been through the whole entire rug, like just having their belief rewarded, you know what I mean? um so, and then for now, what I'm trying to do in the Discord, like while things are building, like is just giving solid alpha, like every week I'm doing alpha. Every week I'm like a degen, like as far as trading goes, like I'm looking for big gains every week so I can trade and then fund our token. And so with the moves I'm making to do that, I'm sharing those with the community, and I think that's been a solid like incentive for people to stick around and stay active. um and 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 that's a big thing, is like I really believe that like for a community to just grow, it should grow organically, like over everything. I don't think it makes sense to pump up our floor or anything, like because we're a derug and we don't have much funds. Like taking over as community leader, I was okay with our floor price kind of going down a little bit early on, because I want I want the diamond holders to be here when things take off. I don't want to just launch and then we just moon and all these people are like looking to flip, and all the people who got like free Rise of Sol Apes airdrop to them, like that was kind of part of the derugging process, was like everyone who filled out the form who got rug got their apes replaced. So um I knew with that kind of airdrop process there would be a lot of like people who got their apes replaced, and then as soon as we go to secondary, they're just going to list it and just try and get out that way. So I think it's been the key point of focus for our community to just like whoever's like a true believer in the rise of Sol Apes is like and is really here for the long term. Like those are the people that I'm here working for to make this project into something lasting, and something that everyone's going to want to buy like soon, as more and more of these developments get executed and rolled out in the right way.
Right. So I want to say like it's admirable that you stepped up, that your team stepped up, and is trying to treat this community right after what happened, and the specifics of that. I'd love to hear a little bit more about as well. Maybe in the future we can do something again and talk about that. Um, I am a bit kind of set back by the idea of sharing alpha, and I think that's awesome. I think that's like as long as you can continually provide something to your community and they see you being active, I think that's huge, and that'll lead to a lot more commitment. Like with us trying to do that weekly space as we've been doing. This was our first full week. Last week we had some scheduled spaces, but they weren't in the style of the show that we're doing now. And doing this weekly, as well as something that our community can rely on, like weekly kind of TikToks or weekly explainer videos, stuff like that, creator chronicle videos, like whatever you can come up with that is on a schedule. And it doesn't have to be 5 days a week. It can be 1 day a week. That'll show commit. So you spreading alpha, you being kind of a leader up and said, like, despite this happening to us, we're going to make something of it. Totally respect that. And, we'll be around watching you guys and wishing you the best as you guys grow from this. But I don't know.
Yeah.
You speak on
Yeah,
that?
I was just gonna jump in. I was actually running through my Discord, like different Discord servers I was in, like way long ago. Well, way longer, like a few months ago. And so many of the projects that I had been in and then sold out of, the Discord is just dead, right? And there's just maybe they didn't set out to be a rug, but there's just no action anymore. And so I think it is very admirable that you took this rugs project where so many people. I mean, usually it's just the token goes to zero and that's it. And to continue to try to provide for that community, it is admirable. And I what you're saying about you don't want people to flip on secondary markets. I mean, that was one thing we were kind of concerned of, is if our initial price, it doesn't really matter. Our treasury size isn't that important. We think we have a lot of ways that we can grow our treasury. But what we were most concerned of is if we went out with a very low mint price and then we tried to build up a bunch of hype and give out tons of whitelists and all these things, to have people come and just mint to then immediately go flip on a secondary marketplace, so that anybody who's actually interested in the idea that we're trying to come up with just gets has to pay a premium to people who are just hunting whitelist spots. That wasn't really something we were interested in. And so and like we talked about, we're gonna have this initial or this February report out, and we'll be able to show people that the value of their NFT has actually is higher now than it was if they had just held Sol for the first month that we've been launched. So like I said, with our project specifically, we can bring value to our community in a handful of ways, but also specifically the value of their NFT. The intrinsic value can rise. But like you talk about, it is really important to provide value to the community. And it doesn't have to be like crazy. Even just like you talk about, like delivering alpha in like different projects you're interested in, and just having a good community in general is valuable. I mean, that's some of the most valuable NFT collections out there is all just community based. With and there's some of those more larger Ethereum collections, but now they have communities of like celebrities and all these crazy people spend $250,000 on a Bored Ape, but now they don't need to make a Bored Ape video game to deliver value to their community, right? It's all in the community. So I think you're definitely on the right path, and I'm excited that we got you to talk with us today, and I'm excited that we'll kind of grow together like you talked about. And if I ever see you guys in a space or whatever, I'll jump in and say hello, and I hope you guys do the same.
Yeah, absolutely. And just kind of looking at even these projects that I feel like our project, Rise of Sol Apes, it really is an art like experiment, and that's what excites me, and that's why I stepped up. Is like it's like, and the whole lore now even is like, we want people who invest in this project to make their own decision, like not based on factors like hey, this project is pumping, so I should buy it, and I think that currently is one of the big factors that a lot of people will invest in a project because it's pumping, you know what I mean? And I've been thinking about like how Solana was kind of back in September really, and it was really focused. I feel like projects were just kind of like very like passion based, like and if you like that thing, you would buy into it. And so I think it's a really great opportunity for potential investors, like buy things that you buy into projects that you just like, you like exactly like the community, you like what the community is about. And like if the community seems to be focused on certain like sub niches or whatever, like, and that appeals to you, and you're just like, hey, I like that kind of thing, and I'm down to like buy this just to engage with the community. I think that's the way to go, and that's what I think Solana needs to really push and like get back to. Like I'm thinking of, I was in the Twitter Spaces with Stoned Ape Crew like the day before they launched, and I was speaking to all the founders, and it was a space like this size, like 7 people, 8 people, and um, they were just like, hey, like we're a group, and like we like to smoke weed, and people were just jumping on like, yeah, man, I like weed, like I like to smoke weed. And it's as simple, I believe, like super successful NFT projects, it's as simple as that. It's just like someone's gonna buy that and hold it because they like to have that community there who's like, hey man, let's talk about smoking weed, like, or like this is related to this. So things that are just kind of like lifestyle based, I think are just, it's like something you'll buy and you'll be like, hey, like I like this art, or I like this art style, and I like that I'm in a community with people who are, into this art style or something like that. That's what we really strive to be. So like with Rise of Soul Apes, we're kind of, right now we're gearing up to really share our lore and our story, because I think our story is where like we're gonna get those kind of like people, who like they want to be invested in something that like is an underdog, and also like as far as the lore, it's kind of like um ancient aliens, like that's like where we're going with it. Like I like I'll share a post up in here if I can, just like it's like ancient aliens and like these apes who are lost in the jungles of Peru, and they're trying to find the gold city of El Dorado. Like I want people in our project who like that kind of stuff, like who are into ancient aliens, and like maybe they like apes, like maybe they like animals, you know what I mean? I think if you give people a community that is all kind of into those topics, and like they're just coming there every night to just like, share stuff about that, like it really builds a strong community, and it's a much better user experience when you're in projects like that, instead of projects that are just like, hey, what's the floor price, like what's the, like when moon, you know what I mean? So that's really what our project is striving to be. um and like even your guys' project, like Griffin Investments DAO, like, you guys are like people who are coming into your community, they care about like, the financial aspect of NFTs, and like just talking about the market, like they're there for that interest, and not just like, hey, what's our, like how's our NFT performing, or like when moon. Like I don't like communities like that personally. I like communities that is focused about around a topic, like you guys are, and Rise of Soul Apes is.
Yep, and we're in agreement there. I had an idea when you were talking. I don't mean to pitch you guys anything, but I loved what you had to say about the underdog story. I come from like a traditional marketing background, but to be completely honest, I graduated college like less than 2 years ago, and I've just been working in that field since. But one of the things that we talk about is story, and that story of underdog is extremely powerful. I think there's a possibility there, since there's been other ruggings in different communities, of you partnering with them. You mentioned, I think it was Senshi, right? You mentioned recently. I could see a possibility of you partnering with them. I think you should check out. This is also a subtle plug, but we have no connection to them at all. I just like what they do. They're called at Contrastive NFT. They combine uh, NFT images using AI programs. So imagine that you and a different rugged community decide like, hey, our communities are gonna do this like shared experience thing where we'll be using Contrastive to blend our NFTs in like solidarity for each other's communities, and it's like incredibly cheap. I was surprised. I saw them on. They were on with Space Goats and Solanauts, the call I was on a couple days ago, and it's something like, I think it's like 0.25 Sol. which is like crazy. But you come out with this like unique image that I don't know if you guys do like a shared space and like that's the reward for joining, or I don't know how you guys would manage it, but that's another way to provide value is these mergers. And that's a tool that I think you guys can use to do that. But just an idea, just spitballing with you.
Yeah, no, you're very right, Rise of Sol Apes, that I think the projects that have focus somewhere, right? Like they focus on their audience, they have a narrow scope, and then they specialize in it. Is the projects that are going to do well, and that kind of is that's kind of our game too. I mean, we want to our community is open to everybody, but we have a focus on investing.
Yeah, man. But for reals, like me and our other dev, he's on Hawaii time, so I think it's a little earlier for him. But we've been trying to do like a weekly kind of space. So definitely, like, our project, like, I think like at least us three, like, we hop on a space and it'll just start filling up. So this will be a good growth thing as we go.
Yeah, there's three of us as well. So we will. I think we're gonna schedule these shows at least a couple hours later. So I think the earliest maybe 8 a.m. for you guys. But we could look at doing even at like noon our time or something. But it would be good if you guys want to do scheduled spaces, or like I said, you could always just DM me or hop in our Discord. Just hop in general and tell people that you guys got space coming up, and I won't. It's just me. Right now we don't really have mods. It's just me, Matt, and Noah. So we won't just advertise it. Just say, hey, we got space coming up tomorrow or in a couple hours, and then I'll definitely see it there, and I'll really make a point to try to jump in there because I figure, if we got 3 team members and you guys got 3 team members, when we want to do these scheduled spaces, if we're supporting those spaces, that's already a pretty solid foundation to get a good conversation going, and I think it's easier for more and more people to hop in when you see there's already 6, 7 people in a space. But I got cut off a little. Only thing I was going to say before I got rugged was that it's great you guys you have a specialized focus. I think the whole lore and story thing is awesome. It's crazy. You want to make it ancient aliens, like that's sick. And so you do stuff like that, and that really is where a lot of value in the NFT communities comes from. And our focus is basically traditional investments with a focus in blockchain investments too. But that's why, I don't know if you were in there, but we're releasing this tutorial video to just a simple tutorial to show people that are brand new to crypto how to get a Phantom wallet, how to get Solana funded into your Phantom wallet, and how to mint a Griffin, so that we may now start targeting people who are interested in investing who don't have that NFT experience to try to bring them into the community as well. But that's it from me.
Wakwas is
All
here.
right, buddy, how's it going, Wakwas? Wakwas has been with us. He might have been like one of our first people to follow us. Definitely one of our first Griffin members.
Day one. Yeah. Well, we're happy you're in here. We did just get rugged. So we were at an hour when that happened, which is kind of weird. Austin was just saying that.
Yeah, I think it may be because it's recorded, Matt. I think, or maybe we don't have a blue check mark. It's one of those things. So maybe if you want to do a space longer than an hour, it can't be recorded, or it has to be like broken up. I don't know. We just need to do a little Twitter research. It could be that unverified accounts can't do longer than an hour-long space, which would be kind of fucked up. But
I don't know. I feel like we've gone over on a recorded video, but
really, well, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to. Yeah, we'll look into it. That could be a reason, but I think anyway, I think that came to eventual conclusion. We were like stacking up some people the second we got rugged, like 2 or 3 joined, and then it was like, oh, we're gone. But I think this is a good wrapping up point, though. Rise of Sol Apes, thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing your story with us. I'm glad that we connected, and we'll be talking again together soon, and kind of working together. I like the community building you guys are doing. I like that you guys have shown leadership and stepped up. So just keep doing it, man. Stay with it. Stay strong. Keep providing value, and that's all you can do.
Thank you guys. I think it was a great space. Yeah, let's keep doing it. Let's keep growing, and
Absolutely.
every new person who finds out about any of our projects, like it's like we could, even if we pay these marketers like hundreds of dollars to do it, it's not as genuine as like every one or two people who just hear us, tell our story and share like why we're doing it. And last thing is, yeah, I love that you guys are like, focusing on like onboarding new people. So I think that's great. And, can't wait to see you guys grow as well. And like, yeah,
Yeah.
we out here, you guys.
I love it, man. I'm happy you're with us. And only thing I will say is that we have seen quite a few people listen to the recordings of those spaces. So even though we maybe only had 7 or 8 people, like one of our spaces had hundreds of like people listen to it, and there was only like probably 12 or 13 people that ever got in there. So we'll post up in Discord or live on our page, and when we've grown to hundreds of thousands of members, people listen back to these and think it's crazy.
Yep. I know
Let's
that's an ambitious number, but we we shoot for the stars here, or I should say, we shoot for Mount Olympus.
Well, we'll get there. Did you see? I retweeted on our page, Matt, the Griffin Investments app page, the number of wallets that have been ordered that have participated in NFT Solana. I mean, you don't have to pin it because we're about to leave, but if anybody wants to go back, I retweeted it yesterday. It's from an account called hello_moon, and then a bunch of underscores. And yeah, so it said, starting the day before the Metaplex protocol went live, ownership has grown from 28,000 to 2.5 million new unique owners of Solana NFTs. So it's just a parabolic chart, and I think you'll see continued growth. And so I do think a year, 2, 3 years, NFTs are going to be even more commonplace. And so I'm excited to keep growing.
Yeah, same here, and we're excited to grow with everyone in this chat here. And thanks again for being here, everyone. Rise of the Sol Apes, Wakwas, Noah, Austin. Thanks for being here so early, and especially 6 a.m. your time. But we're gonna wrap it up here. Talk again soon, guys. I hope everyone has a great day. Remember, act toward peace. Be friendly to each other. We're extremely lucky to be where we are right now, and our thoughts are with the people of Ukraine. All right, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good one.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye. Again soon, guys. I hope everyone has a great day.
Griffin Investments DAO. Join the path on Discord.